Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Fran, and today I would like to talk about the difference between manifesting and trying to manifest, between faking it and feeling it, between reading the lines of a script and being a character, between imitating and becoming. As you probably know, if you've heard my latest podcast, I was watching the Johnny Depp defamation trial against his ex-wife, and I watched it because I found it cathartic and because it helped me look within at how I'd manifested my own life, both consciously and unconsciously. At first, I had a strong reaction to his ex wife, to her testimony, but then I really had to go within and ask myself what parts of me I was rejecting, what shadow part of me was she reflecting back that I did not like or I didn't want to see. And surely enough, it didn't take long for me to understand that she was reflecting back at me my victim mentality, my victim narrative. And I noticed that a lot of domestic violence victims were also triggered in a similar way by her. And that got me thinking that the things that trigger us in others are like 3D mirrors that help us see within, shine a light on our shadow self, and become aware of our own disruptive inner narrative. You see, it's important to acknowledge the old story before you can switch to a new, more empowering narrative. If you hide your shadow in the cupboard, it will forever haunt you and taint your reality. It's important you acknowledge your role in the making of your current reality. It's imperative that we let go of our victim narrative and become aware that we are the gods of our reality. We may not know or even understand how exactly we created our reality thus far, but the fact of the matter is we did. Some of it consciously and most of it unconsciously. We do it naturally, whether we realize it or not. We're following a storyline, we're playing a character, and we are so engrossed in the character that we've come to believe that that is our true self. We've simply forgotten that we are acting, or like Alan Watts would put it, dreaming. Talking about Johnny Depp, there's a scene in Through the Looking Glass where Alice is about to wake up and has to say goodbye to the Mad Hatter. He says to her, "In the garden of memories, in the palace of dreams, this is where we will meet." To which Alice replies, "But a dream is not reality." And the Hatter shoots back, "Who's to say which is which?" Now, I remember in high school, we had this blind or partially sighted literature teacher, and we never found out which was which, like the Mad Hatter. She was very smart and like that. So she never really told us, and often caught us while we were trying to copy someone else's answers to a test or an exam. And I know what you're thinking, taking advantage of someone else's disability like that. But you see, kids are very unbiased. We reserved the same treatment to her that we reserved to all other teachers. And in any case, she was better than other teachers at spotting deception, lies, moods. And also, being removed from the visible world, she was more pensive, more creative, more prone to imagination, like maybe introverts usually are, or probably are. I remember she made us read Alice in Wonderland. She forced us to read this book. Now, we were teenagers and we thought that she'd gone crazy. Why would we want to read this kids' book that wasn't even in a school program? We were baffled. Little did I know that that book would so heavily influence the rest of my life, leading me to quantum physics, conscious manifestation, and the law of assumption. And so yesterday, while watching Deppin Through the Looking Glass, I thought of how he exercised his fears, his complexes, and his pain through his characters. I realized that he was not reading the lines, he was not acting, he was plucking this character from within himself. Quite literally, like a magician who pulls an infinite amount of tricks from a small hat. So he was recreating himself over and over again in the shape of different characters. All these different characters are a part of him. He's not learning the character, he's becoming it. He's feeling his feelings, he's thinking his thoughts. On the other hand, some inexperienced actor or someone who does the job for the money or for the fame, or even someone who wants to retain some degree of distance between themselves and their characters, they might act as if. They might wear a mask and pretend to be that character. They might learn the lines by heart and maybe even get acting lessons to learn how to fake an emotion. Yet, you will always know the difference between someone who acts the character and someone who becomes it. From a psychological perspective, you cannot fake micro expressions. No amount of acting lessons will teach you how to do that. You may look sad or happy or afraid, but unless you're actually feeling those emotions, the viewer will not feel empathy with you or with the character, and they will leave the movie knowing that they've watched a movie. You see, micro expressions are unconscious. They are incredibly fast and thus impossible for the conscious mind to reproduce. The only way to reproduce them is by feeling the actual emotions. Human beings have become incredibly skilled at perceiving microexpressions, although they are not aware of it. That is what we describe as gut feeling. When we say, I have a feeling that they're lying to me, but I don't really know why, and I cannot explain it rationally, or I don't have any evidence for it. What it is, it's our subconscious mind has picked up the microexpressions and recognized them before our conscious or rational mind could process them. As babies, this is an essential skill to develop for survival, as we don't understand spoken language or most of the reality around us. So we need to be able to read our caregivers' emotions because our survival literally depends on them. Then once we learn how to speak and read, etc., we forget that we had this skill all along to read people without listening to their words. And whilst words may be deceptive, microexpressions are raw and honest. They cannot be faked. And the reason I'm talking about this is that the same goes for manifesting. You cannot fool the subconscious mind. When you manifest effortlessly and you do it all the time, you're just being you. You're not trying to achieve anything. You're simply being. When we first learn about manifesting, we try to force the process. We learn the lines without knowing the character. We fake the expressions and we might even be able to get somewhere. But as soon as we remember that we're acting, we will self-sabotage. As we remember that, who we really are, that we are not this character that we're acting out. When we naturally manifest, is because we are just being. We're just being us. We are truly immersed in the script. We are thinking from that character's perspective. We are feeling the feelings. We are carried away by the story, by the narrative. So the key difference between trying to manifest and manifesting effortlessly and easily is belief. You need to buy into the story, to become the character, to adopt their belief system, their modus operandi, their thought process. You need to become this other person wholeheartedly, without doubt or reserve, without holding back any part of you. You cannot become this character and keep going back to your old self. Or rather, you can, but you will always be a mediocre actor in a movie of life. So you can manifest through repeating affirmations and initially faking it, sure. But if beneath the affirmations and acting, you have an unconscious and incessant running commentary that says that you're a fraud, well, the affirmations will carry little weight. You need to retrain that unconscious voice within, or at least learn to silence it, so you can come to a neutral state. I'm not asking you to go from 0 to 100 in one go. Changing our internal dialogue may feel really challenging at first. After all, we've been rehearsing it for our entire life. So to start with, just notice these internal voices and slowly fade them out, making them quieter and quieter until eventually they will disappear completely. Then, when you're ready, you might want to replace them with a more friendly voice or funnier voice or kinder voice. Eventually, this inner voice will become your best friend and you will become your new self. Instead of reading someone else's script or someone else's lines and feeling trapped inside a story that doesn't belong to you, that you don't like, you can become your own director and scriptwriter. But if you truly want long lasting results and mostly pleasant and exciting experiences, you need to become the character. Let the lines flow out of the emotions rather than trying to reproduce the emotions by reading the lines or learning the lines by heart. We are all actors in the movie of our own life, but the successful ones are the ones who have forgotten that they are acting and have jumped headfirst into the character skin. So, do you have to believe in manifesting in order to manifest? Of course not. You're manifesting all the time, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. The question is, do you want to manifest consciously? Do you want to write your own script? Do you want to be the author of your reality, or do you want to act in someone else's movies? Do you want to live your best life and have fun while you're at it? Or do you want to do your job and get out? This is the difference between acting as if and living from the end. When you live from the end, you're truly forgotten that there's another you outside of that character. That character is all you know. If you decide to manifest consciously, like the Mad Hatter in Through the Looking Glass, you need to forget which is which. Which is the 3D and which is imagination? Which is reality and which is a dream? Even Einstein himself said that time and space are just a stubborn illusion. And time and space is pretty much all we know about this reality. Once you remove time and space, the whole house of cards collapses. What once seemed real and tangible is no longer real. So if we want to become successful and manifest in our imagined life, we need to forget that we're imagining. After all, this is how we manifested this very life that we're living right now, by forgetting that we were dreaming. So this is it for today. I intend that this content helps you surrender to your favorite character, to forget about the script, the cameras, the stage, and to let go of your current 3D. Live from the end as if the movie were your real life and as if tomorrow were today. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful, awakened life.